Hey everyone, nice to see you. June is almost here, so let's go make some reading plans. So the start of June also means the start of SPFBO9, so my reading for the next 3 months is going to be taken up a little bit by that, as I'm helping out once more with Team Bookborn for phase 1 of the competition. So I've got 6 titles to read and review. I'm going to split them up, probably 2 in June, 2 in July, 2 in August. And if you want a reminder, or if you haven't seen yet what those titles are, you can check out the video where I introduced those, which will be linked in the cards in the top corner. So I've got 2 of those that I'll go through again today because I've planned them in for my June reading. I'm going to start off with some audio though. So first of all, I'm continuing my buddy read with Nina of The Expanse. We are now up to book 6. I forgot what number we were on. We're on book 6 next, which is Babylon's Ashes, I believe. So there's not too much to say about this. I've been really enjoying my time with it. It's very much an interesting experience, having it almost as a reread as someone who's watched the show, picking out all the little things that maybe weren't included in the show, but remembering all the things that were as well, and it just enriches the experience for me. So I'm having a great time with it. The narration's great, the overall story and the characters I'm really enjoying, so long may that continue, or at least, as long as the series continues. The other audiobook that I'm planning straight off the bat for June is going to be Dead Stars Part 1, which is book 3 of Emaneska by Bengali. I recently listened to Pale Kings, book 2 in the series. Again, it's one that I've been loving the narration for, and I want to start moving through some of the books that are on my 2023 plan, and also some of the series, and get towards the end of them. This one ticks off both of those boxes, so I'm going to hopefully, again, have a really good time with this book. Then, as I say, it's SPFBO time, so a self-published fantasy blog off, and I've got 2 titles which I kind of decided on these 2 first because, one, there's been a lot of interest in my Discord, so a few of us are going to do a buddy read for it, and then the other one is because I've had a copy of it for such a long time and I've just not yet had that right time come along for me to pick it up. Until now, that is. So I'm going to read Seekers, The Winds of Change by Troy Knowlton. Now this one, when I picked it up a minute ago off my shelf, I did notice it's got a very different synopsis, or at least an expanded synopsis, compared to the one that I read, which was just pulled from Goodreads. So I'll go through it here to give a bit of a reminder and also to give that extra information. Chaotic, relentless winds of change are blowing through the world of Tiana, tearing through not just the landscape, but the minds of those who inhabit it. Few feel the effects of the gale as much as Tyrus and Auron, who find themselves caught in the middle of its turbulent fury. As 2 seekers, artifact-acquiring agents of the mighty Argon Empire, they've become accustomed to conflict. Still, nothing could prepare them for the world-changing events about to unfold when one of the Empire's leaders, their own personal master, finds himself at the wrong end of an assassin's bow. Galvanised by the incident, the pair separates in order to uncover the truth behind the terrible act and find the mysterious relic called the Conduit, which is somehow connected to all of it. They'll be tested at every turn as they navigate the tumultuous paths bursting with danger, treachery, monsters and romance. A bevy of challenges awaits them, and sometimes the greatest obstacles lie not from the secret forces pulling the strings, but from the darkness within their own hearts. A colourful cast filled with old friends and unlikely allies accompany them as they travel across the fierce deserts, sprawling cityscapes and murky marshlands of this battle-scarred continent. Along the way, they'll question their ability to succeed and wrestle with the idea of what that even means. The winds of change are blowing, and there's no way of telling where the whirlwind leads. So that does give us a bit more information. It gives us perhaps the inciting incident as well. I am really happy to have had this land in my allocation for SPFBO because, as I say, this has been on my shelf for, let's face it, too long, so I'm glad to be finally getting to it in June. So the second of the SPFBO titles I'm going to read in June is book 1 of the Vashivka trilogy. This is Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves, and as soon as I saw this one I knew I wanted to read it because it sounded good, but I just love that cover. It just speaks to me, even though it's not necessarily one that I would normally go for. Everything on this just really works for me. So this one, there's a few people, as I mentioned before, who are interested in this because the cover's been doing the rounds. It's been gaining a lot of interest, and I've got a few people who are going to be buddy reading it in June on my Discord server. So a reminder of the synopsis of this one. It says, first of all, fear not the beasts in your stories, for anything can be slain with a stout blade and a stouter heart. When her sleepy village is raided by the Volcari, the fearsome warrior women of the ancient wilds, only Zintail Fairwinter is taken. Claimed as a daughter by their infamous matriarch, Zintail is trained to hunt, to fight, and to kill. In the company of their unruly young, she might find sisterhood. In their ancient customs and beliefs, she might find beauty. And in the violence of her raids, she might even find a path to glory. But it is a glory that must be earned in the blood of those Zintail once called her own. For the Volcari are not like other women, the Volcari are monsters. So definitely looking forward to this one. As I say, it sounded really interesting from the synopsis, but every time I look at that, it just draws me in and makes me want to read it. And then I'm not sure how the month is going to go in terms of reading time, so I'm not going to set myself too heavy a TBR for June, but I am going to return to the old TBR jar, which had a miss last month because I'd put forward a bunch of titles to be voted on for me to read, and I'll go through those obviously in my wrap up, which will be coming up in a few days time. But I am going to choose one today to join the titles that I've just gone through, and we'll see what we have coming up. I only want one. And this is quite a good pick actually, A Realm of Stones and Whispers by Ginevra Mancinelli, which I don't have a physical copy of, so I won't need to go too far. This is one of the titles though that is on my plan for the year, so it's in the self-published list that I want to get to. So although it is a longer title, it's 600 to 700 pages if I remember correctly, it is again one that's been on my list for quite a long time, so I'm going to be looking forward to getting to that one and finally ticking it off. So then depending on where I go from there, I do have the options of either returning to the TBR jar or just picking a title off a list of books that I've put on my 2023 reading plan, but it will all depend on how I get on with this initial batch, because with some work commitments that I've lined up for the month as well, there may not be quite as much reading time again for me to pick up additional books on top of these. So that does make this one quite short and sweet. Let me know down below in the comments what you're planning to read for June, and if you're interested in joining in on the read along of Daughter of the Beast, come and check out my Discord server. The link for that, as well as all my other socials, is also below this video. That's everything for today though. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope to see you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.